Hello, hi, my name is Crypto Sport, and in this video I'll be covering off Jurgen Klinsman's comments during the Iran versus Wales game, where Iran won 2-0 and Wayne Hennessy was sent off. Before we get started, if you can hit the like and subscribe button, currently sitting at 353 subscribers, hoping to hit the 1,000 mark as soon as possible. So let's get straight into it. Klinsman had some questionable views, shall we say, when evaluating the game post-match with Gabby Logan. Let's have a listen to what he said.
In terms of their attitude to the game and their, let's call it gamesmanship, you can call it something else at home if you like, and they did just that, and they just stayed on the right side of the law. For the referee, in another game they might not have done.
Yeah, that's their culture, that's their way of doing it, and that's why Queiroz, he fits really well the Iranian national team, and he struggled in South America. He failed with Colombia to qualify, then he failed with Egypt to qualify as well, and then he went back right before the World Cup now and guided Iran, where he worked already for a long time. So this is not by coincidence. This is all purposely. This is just part of their culture. That's how they play it. And they work the referee. You saw the bench always jumping off, always working the the linesman and the fourth referee on the sideline.
Constantly in their ear.
Constantly in their ears. They're constantly in your face on the field. I mean, Kiefer Moore probably will tell you lots of stories after this game today. He had a lot of little incidents that we did not even see out here. This is their culture, and they kind of make you lose your focus. They make you lose your concentration and what's really important to you. And then they take you off.
European ref would have been different.
Big difference with another referee, the Guatemalan referee, and I worked for the US for 6 years. They went to Guatemala, Honduras, Costa Rica, and this fits their culture.
It's the nature,
basically.
isn't it? You know,
yeah, they kind of work it out. They have 5 people around them. They talk it out.
The linesman was from Wales. Well, his name was Wales, but he's from Trinidad and Tobago. But that didn't work for them.
So let's say it did not play in the hands of Wales.
Just a minute beforehand.
It's kind of shocking that these comments didn't go questioned, especially Gabby Logan, who seemed to be directing the comments as well. Gabby Logan is Welsh herself. It's kind of a biased, well, not a very biased view. Queiroz had his say on the views. It's also worth noting it was quite prominent on Twitter. Nuruddin said that it's bizarre that he goes on this weird rant and refers to their culture so many times that it becomes almost comical, and yet he's not challenged once. Ian Rush didn't challenge him. Ashley Williams actually looked quite uncomfortable sitting there listening to it. As I said, Queiroz came out and issued a statement yesterday evening, on Saturday evening. He said, no matter how much I respect what you did inside the pitch, those remarks about Iran's culture, national team and my players are a disgrace. Nobody can earn integrity if it is not at our level. Of course, even saying so, we would like to invite you as a guest to come to our national camp, socialise with the Iranian players, learn about the country, the people, the poets, the art, the algebra, the Persian culture, and also listen to the players about how much they love and respect football. As an American German, we understand you're no supporter, no problem, and despite your outrageous marks on the BBC trying to undermine our sacrifices and skills, we promise that we will not produce any judgments regarding your culture, roots and backgrounds, and you'll always be welcome to our family. Queiroz then went on to question Klinsman's role in FIFA. At the same time, we just want to follow with full attention what will be the decision of FIFA regarding your position as a member of Qatar's technical study group, because obviously we expect you to resign before your visit to our camp. So yeah, quite a classy response. It's also ironic as well because Klinsman was a notorious diver. Some people say it's as I said to you, there's an article here on Bleacher Report, like his top 10 dives, one against Argentina where he rolled over and got a player sent off. When he played against England, Klinsman famously celebrated with a dive in regards to his reputation as a notorious diver. If you take a look on YouTube, you can see it here.
Klinsman, Klinsman. Johnson, ja tulee viireispassi vastaan, että toisaalta ja nyt punainen kortti ja ulos kentältä. Se oli lyhyt laulu tälle kaverille eli Pedro Monsonille, joka tuli vaihdosta sisään, mutta kyllä hän oli tarkoituksella otti kovaa koko ajan, ja koska hän on huomattavasti hitaampi.
You see the player barely touched him and Klinsman rolls over and starts theatrically diving afterwards, which resulted in the sending off. I think Piers Morgan summed it up well before the World Cup. He did an interview here, and you can take a listen to it with Emily Mittas.
Piers, let's turn to football. We're 4 days away from the opening of the World Cup. David Baddiel told us that he's staying home. That his version of football is staying home. Gary Lineker said he wouldn't receive Qatari money. He doesn't like the feel of it. I think the word Baddiel used was reprehensible. Would you go to Qatar? You excited about the games?
I am going to Qatar. I'm doing some punditry for Fox for the America-England group stage because my show airs in America and England, so why wouldn't I? And also, I've got to say, I find a lot of this sports washing debate laced with rank hypocrisy. I mean, I wrote a column last week in which I went through all the problems that all the countries in the last 32 have. And I mean, for example, 8 of the countries in the last 32, that's a quarter of the countries in the World Cup finals, outlaw homosexuality. 1 in 4 countries. So if you're going to use that as the stick to beat Qatar with, you have to then beat the other 7 countries. You don't have a World Cup. And if you don't have it in Qatar, which is the first Middle Eastern country to have it, where do you have the World Cup? You go to Africa, where many countries it's illegal to be homosexual. Do you go there? So that rules out that continent. Do you go to America, which has rather draconian laws about abortion, which play very badly, for example, in the UK? In other words, once you start putting your moral halo on,
right,
where does it stop? And who is morally clean enough to actually host a World Cup? Are we the country that illegally invaded Iraq, which then started a 20-year reign of terror by ISIS? Are we morally clean enough to host a World Cup? I mean, I just think it's fraught with hypocrisy.
So a lot of whataboutery there. Is that basically a big...
Not whataboutery, it's facts.
Well, it's a 2 fingers up to members of the LGBT community and presumably to the thousands of migrant labourers that have died in the making of Qatar in the last 10 years or so. I mean, is that a kind of like Piers Morgan doesn't really care about gay rights?
Would you ever go to the Middle East?
I haven't been for a while.
Would you go to the Middle East?
I would.
Right. End of debate.
Why is that the end of the debate?
Well, if you don't agree with what they do, don't go there.
Well, I don't think that's the same thing, is it? I mean, we're looking
It's absolutely the same thing. This is what I mean about the hypocrisy. It's completely the same thing.
I think his comments were pretty balanced. And also, if you just look into Klinsman's background, he's American and German. America obviously have not the best human rights record. America are actually hosting the 2026 World Cup, and what a lot of the criticism in Qatar has been around the LGBT community's rights and migrant worker rights. It's worth noting in Orlando 6 days ago, a gunman killed 5 people at an LGBT nightclub. 6 years ago in Orlando, there was 49 people shot dead. So in Colorado was the one 6 days ago. But yeah, it's like, should America be hosting the World Cup? Also, considering America had their the World War in Iraq. May this year marked 18 years. You can just see some of the atrocities if you go to Sayed Abdullah's Twitter page. This is Ali Ahudi, prisoner, stood on a box. He says as soon as he enters the prison, they hang him on the metal door, they electrocute the prisoner and urinate on him. He goes, I can never forget the electrocution. It almost felt as if fire would come out of my eyes. In another picture, US soldier is smiling, sitting posing near the corpse, a prisoner and a father of 2 toddlers who was detained and killed mistakenly. Autopsy photo shows bruises. There's 1,800 pictures of naked female detainees, US soldiers having sex and forcibly arranging them, raping them. Iraqi prisoner begs soldier not to attack him with a dog, and feces thrown all over them. But hey, it doesn't really matter. I guess these rights don't matter. And in a war where no weapons of mass destruction were found as a result of the war, we saw drone attacks in Pakistan and just outright bedlam. But obviously the US can host the World Cup. Obviously Klinsman's German background, we saw what the Germans did to the Nazis, what the Germans did to the Jews in World War II. So yeah, it's just ironic. Not surprised really, if I'm being honest with you. Let me know your thoughts below. If you found the video useful, please hit the like and subscribe button. As I said, I will be doing more video and sports related content as well as crypto. Thanks everyone.